What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, back with some more boxing. Now I'm up drinking my coffee, getting some work done, and I figured it's that time. Pacquiao Rios is happening tonight. Um, both fighters came in at weight. Brandon Rios 146.5 and Manny Pacquiao 145, I believe. Both fighters look like they're in good shape, probably the best shape that I've seen in recent camps. Pacquiao looked good in his last two fights, physique wise. Brandon Rios actually looked like he had some definition. He didn't look ghastly like he did in some of his other fights where he was starving himself to make weight. So the addition of Alex Ariza seems to be a beneficial move for Team Rios, Robert Garcia, and Brandon Rios. And I'm here with my prediction. Really want to break down what I see. Um, Without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, this is a real good fight, and the reason it's such a good fight, aside from the fact that both fighters have entertaining styles in the sense of they're gonna be very offensive minded. Both fighters have a chin and both fighters have a heart. Aside from that, it's a good fight because there are a lot of variables, and with variables, it creates question marks. And one of these fighters is going to fill in the blanks on those question marks. For Pacquiao, it's really how much does he have left in the tank in his 30s, getting knocked out in his last fight, hasn't had a KO since Cotto in 2009. Overall, he looks like he lost some focus in recent memory. Marquez 3, a lot of people thought Marquez won. Timothy Bradley won on the judges' scorecards, and a lot of people thought it was a really close fight. And then he got knocked out in his last fight. So the variable for Pacquiao is what Pacquiao is going to show up, what is he going to look like, how much did that knockout take out of him. For Brandon Rios, the variable is more or less how is he going to look moving up in weight. In addition to that, is will he be able to show us some new tricks that he perhaps hasn't showed in the past as much. He's taken a lot of flush shots, walking opponents down, like Mike Alvarado, the Murray dude. Um, so will he be able to show us another dynamic? Because as it sits, a lot of people think Brandon Rios has no shot. He's a walking punching bag. He's too slow for Pacquiao. Um, these things are true, but they're also false. And the reason I say they're false is because everybody's not incorporating the fact that Pacquiao has aged, that Pacquiao just got knocked out. That could be a game changer for a lot of fighters. It's really going to lie within Pacquiao what it did to his confidence and how susceptible he is to taking a flush shot. I mean, is it going to hurt him more than others? That's the dynamic of this fight. So you can't use the Pacquiao that fought Margarito or the Pacquiao that ran through Diaz and pit him against Brandon Rios like years in the future, because if that's the case, I mean, a couple years ago there was a lot of fighters that were probably doing great or doing good, but where are they now? And that's what it's all about. Where are both of these fighters at now? So this prediction's a hard one to make. Like I said, for these variables, these different dynamics. Um, I at the end of the day, with my predictions, I never go over the top. There's a couple fights that I let you know 100% I'm confident in this, and I say that. And that was like Lucas Matisse versus Mike Dallas Jr. I told you guys Mike Dallas Jr. has no shot in hell. He's getting annihilated. And he did. He got slumped up and fucked up in the first round. I also said it in the Gavin Reese versus Adrian Broner fight. And what happened? He got annihilated. After the third round, it was the Broner show. So predictions like this, I let you know that they're tough fights for both fighters. So right or wrong, I really could care less because at the end of the day, I feel I hold a good account of myself on my prediction videos. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not gonna not give a fighter respect and act like it's gonna be annihilation when I really don't see that. And I don't see this as a clear cut. This person is guaranteed to win. There, like I said, there's a lot of variables. I'm picking Brandon Rios to win this fight, probably via late stoppage. Here's why. One, probability. If you're a mathematical person, someone who likes arithmetic, puzzles and riddles like I do, those types of things, you'll know that there's this thing called probability. And it's things like lightning only strikes in the same place once, and there's a thing called probability. So with probability, there's only so many times that someone can defy the odds before the odds aren't in their favor anymore. Manny Pacquiao has already done tremendous things in the sport of boxing, from being a very small, starving, not always eating Filipino fighter out of poverty to moving up and in weight and fighting bigger dudes, bigger guys than him, and actually hurting them. So if you look at things like hitting the lottery or going to the casino and hitting a slot machine and winning big, like let's say you went 2 random days, the probability of you hitting like the grand jackpot twice is really set up against you. It's not really in your favor, and that's why casinos are so profitable, because you have to invest in a lot of money into them, or somebody does, before they get anything. So back to this fighting shit. Pacquiao's already done a lot in terms of groundbreaking, moving up all the weight classes, um, just doing the things he's done in boxing. So I feel like with his style, at some rate, it's probably not really going to work. He doesn't have a technical, fundamental style. There's only so long you can do some of the same things. And I think Pacquiao has a very vulnerable style. When he was lightning quick, he's still quick. But when he was, I guess, more or less in his prime, or a couple years ago when he was running through dudes, 2007, 2008, whatever year it was, Pacquiao had this aura surrounding him, just like similar to Mike Tyson, similar to a lot of fighters, Roy Jones Jr. You look at these fighters, and people are already mentally defeated a lot of times because that other opponent's track record speaks for itself. Look at guys like Lucas Matisse. I mean, we haven't seen him back in the ring since he lost convincingly to Danny Garcia and got his eye lumped up. But he might not look like the same fighter when we come back. He might and he might not. We don't really know. He's like 30, 31 ish. And at the time, before Danny Garcia, he was the feared man. He's the feared puncher. But when a fighter gets knocked out or loses convincingly, then it kind of brings that fighter back down to reality. You see that this person is human. This person can be beat. And don't take me literal. I'm not thinking these people are aliens, or I'm not saying other fighters think they're aliens, unless you're Bernard Hopkins. But it just brings the realism back to the forefront, and you realize like, hey, Pacquiao can be hurt, he can be knocked out, and Marquez displayed that. That's why it was so shocking. If Pacquiao had been knocked out or hurt in all of his fights in the last like 8 years, him getting knocked out wouldn't have been a big thing. You would actually come to expect it. But when you see a fighter severely hurt and you're not used to it, then that's why it's shocking. And that's why it was in the Pacquiao situation. Timothy Bradley in the Ruslan Provodnikov fight, same thing. I've seen Timothy Bradley hurt before, but never like he was hurt in the Ruslan Provodnikov fight. He got hurt in the Kendall Holt fight, and I'm sure a couple other fights, but never like the Ruslan Provodnikov fight. So I think age, father time, and probability are working against Pacquiao, and there's only so much you can do to defy the odds. Now, Brandon Rios, he's a tough fighter. He's tough as nails. So the way I see the fight going, the early rounds are going to really dictate. I did pick Brandon Rios, and like I said, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. Pacquiao might come and really sharpen, apply the pressure, and get Brandon Rios out of there early. However, the flip side to that coin is this: if he cannot do that, then he's in a world of trouble. And especially if Brandon Rios gets an inkling, just a small suggestion that he can hurt Pacquiao, I think he's going to apply the pressure and possibly stop Pacquiao late, like ninth or 10th round. Um, it's just going to be those early rounds. If Brandon Rios, if his chin holds up in the new weight division, which is also one of the new dynamics, I haven't seen him fight at 147. So if Brandon Rios can sustain the power and the speed early, and he's still there in front of Pacquiao, that could discourage Pacquiao, who just got knocked out, and actually encourage Brandon Rios. Another thing with Brandon Rios, very competitive. Just the way he took the Alvarado rematch loss, he's a competitive dude. I don't see him giving up unless he's brutally beaten to submission, which could happen. But at the same time, if you look at Pacquiao, Pacquiao hasn't stopped anybody since Cotto in 2009. You look at Marquez in the third fight, and I know they have different styles. I know Marquez is more of a counter puncher than Brandon Rios. However, Marquez is also a smaller person than Brandon Rios just naturally. You look at Timothy Bradley and Pacquiao. He didn't get Bradley out, and I know Bradley's a fighter with more finesse than a Brandon Rios. However, the equalizer is the fact that although Bradley has more finesse, better boxing IQ, I would say, better ring generalship and movement, he also has less power than Brandon Rios. And I don't think that could really be argued. So that's the equalizer. The things that Pacquiao did against Timothy Bradley or even a Marquez, he's not necessarily going to be able to do if he feels Brandon Rios' power and if Brandon Rios' power, in fact, translates at 147. So I'm going with Rios round 9, 10 stoppage. Like I said, I could be way off base. I just think Pacquiao's already defied a lot of odds. Um, Regardless of who wins, I really don't see Pacquiao putting in a flawless performance. And what I mean by flawless is an unscathed performance like Floyd Mayweather against Canelo or Robert Guerrero or Andre Ward against Edwin Rodriguez, Rigondeaux versus Nonito. I don't see him putting in a performance like that where it's just a master class and he just totally convincingly beats every single round. There's no oh shit moments for Pacquiao. I just don't see Pacquiao beating Rios in that fashion. Like I said, I could be wrong. I just don't see it. Even if Pacquiao is to win this fight, I don't see him winning every single round on the scorecard. But could be wrong. It's boxing. He has a fighter moving up and a fighter that's substantially slower than him. I'm just going with probability and odds in this fight. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to a great fight. Hopefully, both fighters bring it. Both fighters look like they're in shape. They're ready. The Freddie Roach and Ariza incident, I'm sure, fueled them up. And we're going to see who's who tonight. And that's really all I can say. So let me know what you guys think. Is my prediction wrong? Is it right? Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.